In this video, we're talking about 3 quarterbacks that you can get if you go late round quarterback and not wanting to get one of these early top dogs and you want to kind of wait a little bit, stack up your other positions, grab 3 quarterbacks I have for you. If you wait to the end of the video, I've got a special promotion code for you for if you do sign up on Drafters, we can match a lot of your money, and also going over the $15 tournament and what you can expect with that. We'll do that towards the end of the video. The first quarterback that I want to go over today is going to be Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is somebody coming over with his new team with the Falcons, and I think there's a lot of firepower in there. Right now, Kirk Cousins, you get anywhere between the 13th and the 14th round, pretty much later on there, and I'm telling you, you can probably get top end quarterback numbers from him. Granted, he stays healthy. Let's just look over the depth chart real quick and see what he has for fantasy value. We see Kirk Cousins right there at the number 1 of the depth chart. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, a two-headed monster there at the running back position, with Bijan Robinson really being the focal point of this offense. Wide receivers, look at the people catching the ball. We got Drake London, we got Darnell Mooney, and we got Rondo Moore, and then at the tight end position, Kyle Pitts. Look, I'm telling you, he's got all the weapons to be successful, probably even more weapons than what he had over there with Minnesota and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. There's a lot of things to be happy for over here with the Falcons. Yes, he doesn't have a top premier wide receiver like Justin Jefferson, but the quality that he has around him, I think, is really, really nice. Even Darnell Mooney, a nice late round value as well, you could stack up with Kirk Cousins. He was a number 1 wide receiver not too long ago with the Chicago Bears. Let's just look at what Kirk Cousins was able to do last season, even though it wasn't a full season. A little bit of injury happened to him, but let's just look at what he did last season. We see that Kirk Cousins ended up with 2,331 yards passing with 18 passing touchdowns and 25 rushing yards. Now, you're not here really to get any of the rushing capability with Kirk Cousins, but I think he's able to sling the ball all over the field. And if he's able to stay healthy for the full amount of the season, I'm telling you, you can get some positive numbers out of Kirk Cousins. He could easily be your number 1 quarterback. A lot of people will be like, I don't know if I want to go that low. But if you're just kind of going on the wayside, stacking up your running backs and your wide receivers, and you really want a quarterback that can probably carry you to the promised land, Kirk Cousins can possibly do that. Now, let's go over the next quarterback we want to talk about in this video. I'm going to say Will Levis. Now, he did have some highlights, especially when he had that multi-touchdown passing game, and he kind of lit the world on fire. And then he really kind of cooled off for the rest of the season. But Will Levis, he has the talent to get it done. They've added a lot of pieces here in the offseason. I think that he could do something special. If he keeps taking leaps and bounds, he can really get up there, right? I mean, we're talking about right now, round 15, 16, you can get Will Levis, an absolute steal. So if you're grabbing some of his early targets early on into this draft, you can easily play alongside of this, keep drafting these high-end pieces at the running back and the wide receiver position, maybe even a tight end position, and then grab Will Levis later on down the line. Let's look at the depth chart here and see what he has to throw to for fantasy relevance. We see Will Levis here at the quarterback position. Tony Pollard, the new running back over here from the Dallas Cowboys, came on over here. No more Derrick Henry. They're going to be more of a two-headed monster here with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. Wide receivers kind of revamped. Yes, they had Treylon Burks. They stacked him up there. Now he's kind of falling back on the depth chart. You see DeAndre Hopkins still there as the 1A kind of wide receiver. I think he's clearly the number 1. They got Calvin Ridley over here. I think it's a great addition over there from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they recently added Tyler Boyd to be the slot wide receiver for this offense, taking that role away from Treylon Burks. And then the tight end position, Chig Okonkwo. Now, he is a sleeper in his own right. Now, especially in Drafters Fantasy, you can grab Will Levis. Maybe you get DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, even maybe both of these guys early on. Later on down the line, you can grab a Tony Pollard, a Tajay Spears. You can grab a Chig Okonkwo and a Tyler Boyd later on and really stack a lot of these components up for Will Levis. And if he comes on fire and he's lighting everything up, and I'm telling you, start with maybe even a couple of these guys, maybe like Kirk Cousins and Will Levis, and these guys both hit for you, I'm telling you, you are going to be in the cash, scoring a lot of points for your fantasy team, and hopefully raking in a lot of money for your pockets. Let's just look at what Will Levis was able to do in limited kind of capacity last year. We saw that Will Levis ended up with 1,808 yards passing with 8 touchdowns, along 57 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown on top of that. Will Levis, somebody that really can start to step into his own skin, start to develop, become more of a better passing quarterback. He's already got a little bit where he can run the football a little bit if he needs to, but he has a cannon for an arm. We're talking about like Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers type of gunslinger. He likes to sling it down the field. He can go real deep. Getting somebody like a Calvin Ridley now, oh man, I think you can start seeing a ton of fantasy points for you, easily a late round quarterback for me. And the next guy that we're going over here is going to be Russell Wilson, right? We're talking about 18th, 19th round, very at the end of the draft. So early on, if you're getting somebody like a George Pickens or a Pat Freiermuth early on, I'm telling you, I think Russell Wilson can make it happen. We forget he has some decent numbers comparable to almost Patrick Mahomes last season, but we really don't like to make that comparison because the people are like, whoa, I don't know, Justin Fields going to take over. I don't think so. I think this is Russell Wilson's team. It's going to be his team throughout the entire season. They're not going to give Justin Fields a chance. He's probably going to end up walking. Russell Wilson should be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next few years. I like what I see. Let's look at the depth chart here. Let's see what Russell Wilson has to play with. We see Russell Wilson obviously here at the top of the depth chart. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, two running backs pretty much on their last year of their contracts. They have to say, hey, what's going on? They can get out of Jalen Warren's contract. Najee Harris is definitely in a contract year, and he's even losing some weight, so you never know. They've got some competition at the running back position, and they're saying, hey, we need to make some production happen. That could definitely light the load a little bit for Russell Wilson. And look who he has to pass to. We're talking about George Pickens and Van Jefferson. They got the rookie Roman Wilson out of the University of Michigan. I think Roman Wilson is a great route runner. I think he's going to be great for this team. Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington at the tight end position. Arthur Smith, we have to remember, came over here. And I think he's going to be great for Pat Freiermuth and Russell Wilson together. There are weapons here to be had for Russell Wilson to sling the ball all over the field. And again, if you're stacking up these early running backs and these early wide receivers and you need somebody to get you over the hump at the very back end, I'm not saying make Russell Wilson your #1 quarterback, but if you have maybe a Kirk Cousins or a Will Levis, tag him up there with the Russell Wilson, and I think overall the points will be great for you, especially when you're getting close to almost the last pick of the actual draft. I think it's phenomenal. Let's see what Russell Wilson did last year. We see Russell Wilson end up with 3,070 yards passing, 26 passing touchdowns, 341 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns on top of that. Like I said, he's a 3,000-yard passer, guys. Just like these other guys should be 3,000-yard pass as long as they play the full season. These guys are somebody you can kind of put into and weave all into your lineups with a stacked lineup with the running back and the wide receiver position. And I'm telling you, especially if you get somebody like a George Pickens, team that up with Russell Wilson, I think you'll be happy that you did. Let's kind of go over what the tournament is here, the $15 tournament over at Drafters. See, Drafters is calling this the Drafters $1,000,003. It's NFL Best Ball Championship, right? $2.5 million in prizes with $500,000 to first place. This is a total points format, which means most points wins. You combine all the points from weeks 1 through week 17. Whoever has the most points wins that $500,000. Over here, we're doing a 12-team draft. You can do either fast or you can do slow. It's a $15 entry with 150 max entries for this tournament. Guys, I know I'm going to be maxing that tournament out myself. Make sure you guys head over and do a lot. We do a lot of live streams, do a lot of drafting. Come draft with the community. It will be a lot of fun. If you're not a part of Drafters yet, don't worry about that, guys. Get over in Drafters, make yourself an account, and when you do a first deposit, if you use code BAYOUBENGAL, all capitals, BAYOUBENGAL, I will match up to your first deposit up to $100. That means if you put in $100, we're going to match you $100, and you're playing with $200. Guys, Drafters, it's extremely fun. If you're over there with DraftKings, if you're over there with Underdog, I'm not saying leave those guys. Give Drafters a chance. I think you'll be surprised at what you see if you give them an opportunity. It's a lot of fun. I love the UI. I love what they're doing over here at Drafters, and I would love for you to come over to the community, definitely into one of our live streams, and draft with us. Make sure you guys are hitting a like on this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Are you a part of Drafters yet? If so, come on over to one of our live streams. If not, use the code BAYOUBENGAL, get yourself a first deposit match, and then come over to the live streams. Either way, I'd like to draft with you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.